Well, the book is really my experiences as I lived them in research and development of the Army under General Trudeau, Arthur Trudeau, and he drew me back in and put me in charge of that and established a Foreign Technology Division for me. And these were the artifacts on a crashed flying saucer, which we used the word applied engineering. Dr. Teller was still alive, knows he helped, and we fed these things. He gave me the job of finding industry or scientists that were close to these items and feed us to them in normal R&D projects.
And you're saying these items came from somewhere else?
They came from a flying saucer.
How do you know that?
Because they were marked in the files as coming from New Mexico.
Roswell?
Yeah, Roswell. Well, I think some came from maybe another crash, but these came from New Mexico and Roswell especially. And General Trudeau gave me the job of working out a program, put these things out, feed them to industry, but there was provisions feeding it. They could have the patents, but they had to feed them out back to us as a competitive edge of the Army and to the American people and the world if necessary. Like the Japanese interviewed me, and I told them we put the integrated circuit out, and we also gave it to you. And I told the Japanese this right at the interview at Roswell.
Give me a little laundry list of the things that, the technologies that are at least partially responsible from the Roswell.
Well, there's the number one was the integrated circuit. Number two in importance was laser, because I had some laser instruments also. Then fiber optics came out of this. The imaging devices or night viewing devices came from this. Some of the work we did on electromagnetism and the ICBMs and came from this.
Imagine the scientists and technicians and the companies that worked on this stuff are not real happy with your version of history.
No, I haven't heard anything. In fact, I've heard from scientists, at least a dozen of them since then, and they're supporting everything in the book. They say it's true. In fact, I just got a letter before I left from McDonald's nephew, or son, and he told me that a lot of people come from IBM, from Hughes, and from the White Patterson Air Force, and said that I filled some of the holes in which they've been wondering about for many years. And I just got this the day I left home, 2 days yesterday.
So is there any question, I mean, that elements of our military, our government, have known for a long time that UFOs are real, they're from somewhere?
Oh, sure they do. I know certain in 1947, well, in 1947, no, I'll back up. I saw the body then. I didn't see UFOs. The UFOs came into the picture later years, 10 years later, for me. And also I worked out the omissions weren't in the UFOs. In fact, George, I've even told you, I think, that I was not interested in seeing UFOs. I was all interested in what was in those UFOs. I told them I'm not interested in seeing something fly in the air, but I like to know what's inside that thing.
Did you physically handle the artifacts from
Oh yeah, I had them. They were in my possession.
What things did you have? What did you have?
I had an integrated circuit, like the size of a quarter. I had a bunch of wires. Colors were coming out of it. I don't say wires. I didn't know what they were. I didn't know if they were wires or anything. They actually, well, I didn't know what they were. They just were emitting light. I had a piece of metal. Atoms were lined in it. So tough, paper thin, you couldn't break it, bend it, or anything. I had super tenacity fibers. That was, atoms were lined in it. You couldn't burn it, you couldn't cut it. And later on, the nearest thing in this world that we found to that was a spider web. There's a spider spins an atomic aligned web.
People say military can't keep a secret. There's no way a secret like this could be kept.
We kept a secret one way. We had to keep a secret for two reasons. One was a climate opinion within our own government. The people higher up in the government didn't like the military or the Army. And if you remember, in those days, NASA took space. We did Project Horizon in '59. It's part of it's in the book. First 50, that's 310 pages long. We were going to put a military colony on the moon. They took that away from us. They took atomics from us. With atomic engine, but we still kept developing atomics, and we did the ion engine and some other things that maybe the world could use today, like the portable atomic installation that went to McMurdo Air Force Base. Made 28 million gallons of water a day, 10 million in 4 years. Then when they came back, they destroyed it on us. We did the first heart pump. We did some atomic ion that took nitrogen in the air and made a fuel you could run automobile from it. And they used Pu-238. what we used. And most of the probes that went to Mars and Saturn and so forth and Jupiter, our little engine was in those. The Soviets stole it, some of their spies. In fact, I have satellites up in space going right today, but they're leaking because they didn't do a good job with them.
Back to the idea of the cover-up. I know you've said before that it wasn't really an active cover-up.
No, because I was telling in later interviews, if you let the government alone, it'll cover itself up.